Hi, I'm Cindy from Cindy's Table, and thank you for joining me here in my kitchen today. I am so excited to share this recipe with you, and if you're familiar with my blog, cindy'stable.com, you will know how much I love one-pot recipes. And this recipe that I'm sharing with you today can be served for 2, 4, 6, or 8, or just guests that show up, but of course, this is perfect for our family. Now, I'm going to make this dish for 2 people, for my husband and I tonight, and you're going to see how easy it is, one pot dish, and how amazing. So what I'm going to do is start my pork chop. So this is a pork chop with kale and mushrooms and pepper. It's going to be so amazing. So what I like to do is start seasoning my pork. So you want to season it right away to get those flavors going, and then some pepper. So here we are, salt and pepper, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to season this other side as well. So we'll get our seasoning out of the way. So now what I want to do is get this going in a very hot pan. So let's go over to the pan and start cooking. The first thing I want to do is get my pan nice and hot. Now if you notice, I'm using a really pretty pan because I'm going to serve this dish right out of the pan to make it nice and easy. Now the first thing I want to do is just add a little bit of butter. I like combining butter and oil in my pan, and the reason I do it really helps the meat get nice and crispy. I want that nice crispy. Now I have olive oil here and coconut oil, so you can use either one. I'm going to go with our olive oil, and if you take a look, you can see it's starting to bubble. The pan is getting nice and hot, so this is going to be great. The butter is melted, it's bubbly, and it's starting to turn brown, so now I know this is really hot. So let's get one of the pork chops here, put it in the pan. And hear that? That is the sound you want to hear. I'm going to let this sit for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to walk away and cut up my vegetables while the first side is getting nice and crispy. We have the pork chops going on the first side. Now I just want to cut up my vegetables. Now here I'm using garlic right out of the jar, minced garlic. If you have fresh garlic in your pantry, go ahead and cut it up, but I do like to take some shortcuts. I'm going to use a nice sized shallot, and all I want to do is cut off both sides. I usually give it a slice down the back, and then peel the skin right off. Perfect. All right. It's going to add so much flavor. I always keep shallots in my pantry now. I just use them everything. They just add so much flavor. I'm going to add that to the side. Next, I want to cut up a yellow onion. So I'm not cutting them too fine. I want them in good-sized chunks. Or I can also do thin slices if I want as well. Next, I have a red bell pepper. And what I do is I just cut the top off, and then I'm just going to cut down the sides. This makes the chopping a little easier. I like to go big easy. And I even cut the back off. Now what I'm going to do with these is just cut them in nice strips. You want to see them, and they're going to make the dish look really pretty too. With the kale, and then we have the baby bella mushrooms, some chicken broth, some spices. Now these have been cooking for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now watch when I flip it over. Look how golden, delicious this looks. Does that just look amazing? So now all I have to do is just adding in my other ingredients. So I have my garlic. Again, everything is just going into this one pot. Now this is it. I mean, this dish is actually less than 30 minutes. It only took me maybe 2 or 3 minutes to chop up all these vegetables. Now at this point, you can really add in whatever flavors you love. Because I have a full pantry here of spices, as you can see, I like to add in my Italian. So I'm going to add in some basil. Again, you can add in whatever you have handy. If you do have fresh herbs at home, save that to the end. I think I'm going to add in some thyme. I love basil, thyme, and parsley. They're my favorite. And I do have an herb garden, and once everything is grown, I will be adding in the fresh herbs. The dry herbs you can add in the beginning of the recipe, and that's fine, but we definitely don't want to add the fresh herbs, and you want to save them last because you want to get overdone. And now I'm adding in some oregano. Okay. I can add a rosemary. I can keep going if I want, but I think this is going to be perfect. Okay, so now what I want to do is add in I have about 2 cups here of baby Bella mushrooms. Now these were already sliced for me, so all I had to do was open up the package and toss them in. Okay, the next thing I want to do is add in, this is about 4 cups of kale. Now I actually found this in the grocery store in a bag already cut up. So how easy was that? Now what I did do is go through it, because if there are big pieces of that rib, we'll just take that out. We're going to add that kale on here. It smells really, really good in here. So we'll just let that sit for a minute. Now I have about 2 cups of chicken broth here. This is homemade chicken broth that I made. I'm just going to pour it right in here. All I'm going to do now is put the cover on it and let it sit for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we're going to finish it up and get it served. Are you ready to see this dish? Open the cover. I mean, oh my gosh, it smells so delicious. Kale is just perfect. You don't want to overdone the mushrooms, the peppers, the onions. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. Now this is my secret ingredient. I like to add in just a little bit of Dijon mustard, and it really helps the broth that I made become nice and creamy. So about a tablespoon. I'm gonna mix them all up. I just want to add a little bit of arrowroot powder, and all that does, it also helps thickening it. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit on and just stir it in there, so that it can get in there. And you want, again, you want to add this at the end, because it does make plenty of flavor if you add it too soon. So that's the end, and now you can now see that it's already gotten nice and juicy. Oh my God. I'm gonna taste this. Perfect. With all those spices I add in there, the garlic, the shallots, this Dijon mustard, really, it's really the secret key to this great dish. Now I just want to plate it up for you. Get a nice spoon here. Let's take out one of those amazing, perfect pork chops here. This one here. Oh, look at that. Does that just look perfect? I want some kale, some mushrooms. And I don't really need to serve anything else. This is a meal. This is a full meal. So here, when I cut into the pork chop, let me just show you. And this pork chop only took about 12 minutes to cook. Let me get a nice piece here. I mean, look how perfect this pork is. It's nice and crispy on the outside. Dip it in the juice with the kale, the mushrooms. It's gonna be so amazing. This is a perfect one-pot meal, and it is really made less than 30 minutes. I don't have a mess in my kitchen. I get to sit down with my husband, a nice glass of wine, hear about his day, and enjoy this healthy one-pot dish. Now, thanks for joining me here at cindystable.com. Be sure to check out this recipe and so many others. I have a one-pot section right on my website. You can check out paleo recipes, all my Italian recipes, and be sure that when you make this dish, take a picture of it and put it on my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere that you can find me, because I want to see how much you love this dish. So we'll see you again here at Cindy's Table.